Welcome to a new game for this channel, and in fact it's a new game, period. It is Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. With all the new FPS games recently announced and released, you're probably wondering if you need another title in your arsenal. Well, I remember losing a lot of time to what was a small title known as Red Orchestra in the mid-2000s. In a world of fast-paced arena shooters, it felt like a small oasis of hardcore honesty. Fast forward to the present day and I see that Tripwire Entertainment is developing a new title called Rising Storm 2 Vietnam, and I start reminiscing about Red Orchestra, wondering how a game that hardcore and unforgiving would be in a Vietnam-era environment. I reached out to Tripwire and they were good enough to grant me access to the game, and even gave me some beta keys to give away on Twitter. See, there is a reason for following me on Twitter, after all. On first acquaintance with Rising Storm 2, it's immediately clear what kind of cinematic tone the developers were aiming for. Actually quite catchy period-style music plays over Vietnam war film montage of silhouettes and shapes. The old-school feeling persists with a proper server browser, something I absolutely love. There's no matchmaking or other newfangled gateway. You find a server you like and probably choose to play it on the next day too. This repetition often leads to recognizing names of teammates and enemies. It's like a silent familiarity in the bubble of action. And what action there is. Be aware, this is no Call of Duty, no Counter-Strike, no Battlefield. It absolutely doesn't want to be those games. This is a game best described perhaps using the most overused adjective in FPS gaming: hardcore. No crosshairs, aim down sight only. A ballistic system where almost any gun can be a one-hit kill given the correct situation. A stamina system causing sway if you try to aim after running. No kill cams or indeed any post-kill information of any kind if you die to a headshot. It's just a black screen. All of these things combined to an often cliff-like learning curve for the new player, or at least until the uninitiated learn the sort of cadence of a game like Red Orchestra and this new Rising Storm 2. What might be surprising is the rewards in terms of enjoyment are huge. The deadly and authentic style of the game leads to a different tempo. Sometimes you're charging through city streets, through dense undergrowth, through the crack and bellow of gunfire and artillery. Other times you're awaiting the thunder. You've picked your angle, you've checked how many bullets are loaded in your magazine, and you've braced your weapon up against a rock or wall to help steady it. The world is calm, but there's a tension in knowing it won't last. Your eyes become fixed on the expected contact point, or maybe scan the horizon for movement. The sound design feels like it's almost the core of the game. If you have decent headphones, then expect a rich, visceral experience. The crack of gunfire mixed with the bass of explosions is all set to in-game music that really helps push this game's cinematic tone. If I had to be critical, and indeed I do, I'd say the engine feels like it might be a little long in the tooth. I'd hazard a guess that we are looking at a game built on UE3, and that the fidelity on offer doesn't rival the output of something you might see in a Battlefield game or something with their Frostbite engine. As this is a full release, there are no unlockable items apart from cosmetic skins linked to player level. Helmets, clothing, tattoos and other visuals allow you to change from a fresh-faced newbie into a battle-hardened pro. Though from a UX perspective, you really should be at least able to view items before you can unlock them. The other point I'd make segues into one of the game's strengths, and that's player communication. I spent most of my time playing with friends, but for people playing solo, the need for coordination is really something that the game pivots around. Joining or even just listening to the in-game voice comms can make a seismic difference, not only on your chances of success, but to your overall enjoyment of the game. This is a game that feels like it's aware that it isn't for everyone. This isn't a middle-of-the-road FPS title designed to please as many people as possible. This is a game that knows the experience it wants to provide, and when all those ducks are in a row, it's immense fun for the people who respond to that experience. It's the other side of the coin where it can feel frustrating. If you're on a team with little to no coordination, communication, or even just someone willing to play the commander role, it can really dent the whole experience. The isolation makes it difficult to perform your own part in the team, and hence, your side's performance will suffer. My advice would be to always play with friends. That way, you know, most games are almost always fun. Or if you're often playing solo, then find a server with a regular player base who are invested in playing the game as it's meant to be played. Hearing your commander coordinate artillery and airstrikes with squad leaders while you're in the metaphorical and sometimes literal trenches gives a real depth and grandeur to Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. So when the time comes to charge, you hear your squad leaders count down the final few barrages to time your attack. They scream over voice comms to push, and you join your teammates in a fearless stampede across contested ground. That feeling of being part of something to have a real impact is perhaps Rising Storm 2 at its best. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with the Rising Storm beta, and with the full release on the 30th of May, I'm looking forward to playing the release version next week. If you're interested in purchasing, there's a link to the Steam page in the description below. It's almost $30 for US folks, which is almost £23 for us in the UK. There is a pre-purchase discount of 25% for the Digital Deluxe Edition, so a bunch of unlocks for Rising Storm 2 and, of course, Killing Floor 2, the sister title, plus an official soundtrack, but there's full details in the Steam store page. I'd love to hear what you think of Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. Does it look like it's up your alley? Did you play Red Orchestra or any of the previous titles in this series? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, why not tap the thumb up button or even prod the subscribe button. It's free and it really helps support the channel. Thanks a bunch for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.